Welcome to the English Edge podcast, a space where we practice real English through calm, meaningful conversations you can actually use in daily life.
Whether you're learning for travel, work, or daily life, you're in the right place.
I'm Sophie, and I've been teaching English for many years. I truly believe English is not just a language, it's a tool for connection.
And I'm Jay. Together, we're here to practice English the way it's actually used in the real world.
Let this be a relaxed space for learning and listening.
All right, let's ease into today's conversation.
So, funny question to start with, but have you ever walked into a grocery store, stood there for a second, and thought, okay, where do I even begin?
Yes, and honestly, that moment of standing still with a cart or basket is universal, especially when you're shopping in a different country or using English.
Exactly. And it's not just about buying food. It's about navigating a whole system. Signs, sections, prices, and small conversations that happen without warning.
Right, and that's why grocery shopping is actually one of the best real-life situations to improve English, because it's practical, repetitive, and, well, unavoidable.
So today, we're easing into grocery shopping in English, not rushing it, just walking through it the way you would in real life, step by step.
And we're starting at the very beginning, before you even pick up a cart or say a single sentence to anyone.
Let's talk about grocery stores themselves, because not all stores are the same, and knowing the type already helps you understand what kind of English you'll hear inside.
For example, a supermarket is usually large, self-service, and organized into aisles, while a corner store is smaller, quicker, and often more conversational.
And then you have farmers markets, which are a bit more social. People talk more, ask questions about freshness, and sometimes even negotiate prices.
Yes, and culturally, this matters because in many countries, grocery shopping is assisted, but in English-speaking countries, it's mostly self-service.
Which means you're expected to browse, pick up items, read labels, and only talk to staff when you need help, not constantly.
And that's actually good news for English learners because it gives you time to think before speaking instead of being put on the spot immediately.
Now, when you enter a typical supermarket, you'll often notice the produce section right at the entrance. Fruits, vegetables, bright colors everywhere.
Yeah, it's kind of intentional, like the store saying, "Welcome, look how fresh everything is," before you even reach the bread or snacks.
Exactly. And after that, you usually move through aisles. And by the way, an aisle is the space between shelves where you walk with your cart.
And those aisles are often labeled with signs above them, like dairy, canned goods, or frozen foods, which quietly guide you without anyone speaking.
Which is helpful, because even if your speaking confidence is low, your reading skills can support you while shopping.
Exactly. And then usually, at the very end of the store, you'll find the checkout, where all the talking suddenly happens.
Before we get to checkout, though, there's something important, the mindset you bring into the store, especially if English isn't your first language.
Yes, because if you walk in feeling rushed or nervous, your brain kind of shuts down and even simple words suddenly feel complicated.
That's why many fluent speakers actually prepare mentally before shopping, even native speakers, especially when they want to stay within a budget.
Which brings us naturally to the idea of planning, not buying yet, but just thinking ahead. But we'll slowly move into that next.
Also, quick note on tools. You'll usually choose between a shopping cart for big trips or a basket for smaller ones.
And choosing a basket kind of tells your brain, okay, we're keeping this simple, which honestly helps avoid impulse buying.
Impulse buying, by the way, is when you grab things you didn't plan to buy, usually because they look good in the moment.
Yes, and grocery stores are experts at making impulse items very visible, especially near the checkout.
So at this stage, you're not speaking much English yet, but you're already using English through signs, labels, and your internal thoughts.
And that's important to remember. Learning English doesn't always start with speaking. Sometimes it starts with observing and understanding.
All right, we've walked into the store, understood the layout, and settled our mindset.
Next, we'll move into something very practical, preparing and using a shopping list, and how that quietly improves your English without you realizing it.
So now that we're inside the store and not feeling overwhelmed anymore, this is usually the moment when people realize whether they prepared or they didn't.
Yes, because this is where the thought hits you. Wait, what did I actually come here for?
And that's where a shopping list quietly becomes your best friend, especially when you're shopping in English.
Exactly, because a list reduces decision making, saves time, and honestly, saves your English energy too.
A basic shopping list doesn't need complex English at all. Simple sentences like I need milk, eggs, bread, and rice are more than enough.
Yes, and notice how natural that sounds. Not fancy, not perfect, just clear and functional.
This is important because grocery shopping English is about clarity, not impressive vocabulary.
Right, no one is grading your grammar in the cereal aisle.
Now, when people don't make a list, something interesting happens. They start browsing without direction.
And browsing means walking slowly, picking things up, putting them back, and thinking, do I need this or do I just want it?
By the way, browse simply means to look around casually without a strict plan.
Which is fun, but dangerous for your budget, and sometimes for your confidence in English.
A list also helps you organize your thinking in English by categories: produce, dairy, bakery, frozen foods.
Yes, and once your brain starts grouping items, English feels less chaotic and more predictable.
For example, under produce, you might write apples, bananas, tomatoes. Under dairy, milk, cheese, yogurt.
And suddenly, you're already using English nouns confidently without even speaking yet.
Another benefit of lists is that they reduce impulse buying, those, oh, maybe just one more thing moments.
Yes, especially when snacks are involved. The snacks are always watching you.
And when you stay focused, you move through the store more smoothly, which lowers stress and helps comprehension.
Stress is a big factor because when you're stressed, even simple English like, where is the milk, feels harder.
Let's also talk briefly about writing styles on lists because spoken English and written lists are different.
Yes, lists are usually not full sentences. You write eggs instead of I need to buy eggs.
And that's normal. Short words, clear nouns, that's how lists work in English.
Which means even beginners can create effective shopping lists without pressure.
Some people also use notes on their list, like cheap brand or on sale, which helps decision-making later.
Yes, and speaking of on sale, that phrase simply means discounted, lower than the usual price.
Knowing that phrase alone can save you money and confusion at the same time.
And it prepares you for conversations like, is this item on sale, which we'll explore more soon.
One more subtle thing about lists, they give you confidence. You walk with purpose instead of hesitation.
Confidence changes how people interact with you, even staff. You look like you know what you're doing, even if you're still learning.
So at this point, you've planned your shopping, organized your thoughts, and reduced unnecessary English stress.
Next, we'll move deeper into the store, reading labels, understanding signs, and navigating aisles with confidence.
All right, now that you've got your list and a clearer sense of direction, this is the part where most of the silent learning happens, navigating the store itself.
Yes, because once you're moving through the aisles, you're constantly reading, comparing, and making small decisions in English without even noticing.
Let's start with store sections because they quietly guide your entire shopping experience. You'll usually see signs like produce, dairy, bakery, frozen foods, and canned goods.
And those signs are doing a lot of work for you. They reduce confusion and save you from having to ask for help immediately.
Now, while you're in an aisle, you're often reading labels, and this is where English becomes very practical.
Exactly, because labels tell you ingredients, nutrition facts, and most importantly, expiration dates.
An expiration date means the last safe day to use a product. If something is expired, it's past that date and shouldn't be consumed.
And no one wants to find that out the hard way at home.
You'll also see adjectives like fresh, organic, or budget-friendly, which help you make choices based on quality and price.
Yes, and when something feels overpriced, that usually means it's too expensive for what it offers.
Another useful habit is comparing prices. You might quietly think, okay, this brand is cheaper, but that one is bigger.
And that internal dialogue, that's English practice too, even if no one hears it.
Now, sometimes you won't find what you're looking for, and this is where interaction begins.
Yes, and asking for help doesn't need perfect English. Simple phrases work best.
You can say, "Excuse me, where can I find the rice?" Or, "Do you have this in stock?"
And notice how polite and calm those sentences are. That's all you need.
Staff may answer quickly, sometimes with gestures, sometimes with directions, like, "It's down aisle 5 on the left."
And if you didn't catch it, it's perfectly okay to say, "Sorry, could you repeat that?"
Asking again isn't weakness, it's clarity.
Honestly, even native speakers do that all the time.
So, at this point, you're reading, listening, speaking a little, and managing the situation confidently.
And that's real English. Not memorized, not forced, just practical and human.
Before we wrap up, remember that grocery shopping is not a test. It's practice disguised as routine.
If this episode helped you feel more comfortable using English in daily life, consider subscribing to the English Edge podcast.
We share real conversations, useful language, and practical confidence building every episode.
Thanks for spending this time with us, and we'll continue building your everyday English together.